to Midnight Mass. Once again, now we can talk spoilers since you have finally watched it. And a lot of people, and most people I think, have watched it. And if they haven't, I'm not sure if they're interested even, because this was pretty popular a week ago. And, so yeah. What did you think of Midnight Mass?
Yeah. Okay. So last week we talked about Midnight Mass, and you give your kind of non-spoiler thoughts on it. I had not finished the show yet, but this week I have. I like Mike Flanagan, the creator of the show, the writer, the director. We love his stuff. Doctor Sleep, Hush, Bly Manor, all that kind of stuff. He's just talented. He is brilliant. He's actually my pick to do a Justice League Dark movie. I want him to do that in the future or a series. I just think he'd be perfect for it. But yeah, Midnight Mass. So like 7 episodes. The- Okay, so and I'll just read the plot in case some people want to know what it's about and they don't want to watch the show or whatever. An isolated island community experiences miraculous events and frightening omens after the arrival of a mysterious young priest. Okay, so basically that what it is. It's a very slow burn, and you're introduced to these characters and in the community, and you get some backstory to them and stuff like that. And then strange stuff start to happen. You see kind of things in the background. It looks like a demon. And then I was thinking, oh, is this got to do with ghosts or demons or possession? And in a way, that's kind of all mixed together. But I was not expecting to see a full blown angel that eats people to pop up in this show, which was insane. And this angel isn't like, oh, a good looking angel, like a Charlie's angel, one of the a model or something like this. This angel is terrifying. It's scary. It's got wings. It's bald. It's got massive nails and hands. It's just weird, and it flies off with people and eats them and eats their blood. It's just unbelievably insane. And actually, this mysterious young priest is like this as well. He kind of lives off blood. He's like a vampire, like a demon kind of, but he's in the name of God. They're not doing it in a bad way. They still represent God, but they think that this is like the way of God or something like that. But yeah, so when the twist, like because I knew there was a twist coming because all the online buzz and people were saying don't be on social media, but I wasn't spoiled of the twist. And when the twist came, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy, this is insane. And I think that happens around episode 6, and it sets up the finale, episode 7. I will say for me, episode 7 kind of dragged on a little bit. I just thought after the big reveal happens, it was like, where do we
Yeah,
go next? And then they're all on this island, and they basically, the people of the island get possessed with this kind of they die, they come back to life, they want blood, they're kind of vampires, demons like that. And then their goal is to go to the mainland and probably spread this to the entire world or
right.
whatever. But after this is revealed, like everyone in the town gets this. After it's revealed, that kind of the feeling of just what is this show, or like this show was really well done, was kind of gone for me because it just dragged on and dragged on. And then you have the people just running around this town in the island, and like they have to just going on and on and on. And for me, it just lost that little bit of edge in the last episode. I think if it had an 8th episode or a 9th episode, it could have, cleared things up a little bit more. And then the show just kind of ended. The island was burnt, it was destroyed, everyone died except for 2 kids who left the island by boat. And yeah, I thought overall very well made show, very interesting characters. But like one character, I forget his name,
But
Riley.
Riley.
Riley. Riley was a character who was introduced at the very start as the main character. He was just out of prison. I think he was in a drunk driving crash. He killed a woman. He went to jail. He comes back to this island. He's kind of looked down upon because he's a murderer and stuff like that. And he's trying to get redemption for himself. He's helping his father on his boat, with his work. He's going to church. He's trying to kind of change and be the man that he probably would have been unless if he didn't go to prison. And he kind of gets this power because the demon, the angel, kind of eats him or bites him. So then he has the powers of the angel, the demon as well, just like the priest. And then he kind of, he confesses it to the girl played by Kate Siegel, who he kind of loves, Erin. And then he just kind of kills himself. He just dies. Doesn't add anything more to the actual story. And then you have kind of a all female kind of lead cast, kind of leading this forward to take down this kind of this cult of what the priest is trying to do. And it just ended very soon for me. I thought it could have done another 2 or 3 episodes. I think the finale was just wasn't as good, Casey, as the previous 6 episodes. And that's just my opinion, but I still like the show. But people are saying it's a masterpiece. It's unbelievable. It's 10 out of 10. I will say it's a pretty good watch.
Yeah.
And it maybe would have been a 10 out of 10 if they nailed the finale, but for me they didn't. So it's just an okay watch for me in terms of it's a really good watch, but it's just not something really special for me like Doctor Sleep was.
Yeah. I think that it's one of Mike Flanagan's things. I think that he comes from a place of having these characters who have heart and story. So he, by the end of, like Bly Manor, even, by the end of the show, he kind of forgets that it's a horror movie or horror show. Then he delves into this love and human aspect of the story, which I appreciate. I did enjoy that, but I think that he should have have more horror aspects in the finale as well. But having said that, I do think that it was a pretty great ending. I like it even more on my second watch, because on my first watch, even I thought it was kind of a really good ending, but I thought it was lacking more of the horror elements that was presented throughout the series, and I agree with Maher over there. Um, but on my second watch, I think it was a perfect ending. I think that every scene that he sets up, he gives these characters an arc, and then those arcs end. And like he knew that by the end of the show everyone's gonna die, so there's no point in not killing off some characters in the middle. I thought that Riley's ending was perfect. I thought that the twist with him was, the thing he was dreaming was his death all along, and they both have a talk, like Kate Siegel's character and him, but they both have a talk about death and what their belief about what happens with death and after death. They talk about that, and I thought that ended pretty perfectly. And the way it was done, it was both terrifying, that scene, as well as beautiful. I thought his arc was very, very well done, and I know that it's kind of weird to kill off the main character in the middle because he didn't do much, but I think he just was in that mindset of the guilt being so overwhelming for him to continue to move on, or just to convert Kate Siegel's character or anything like that. So he just had to go, you know.
I, I thought what they were going to do was like, so he, is it like when they get bitten, did it become, is it a demon or an angel? What do they actually become when they get bitten and then they have the urge to take blood
So
from
it's
people?
basically
Like, are they
vampires.
a vampire?
Yes.
Okay, so like I thought what was going to happen was the priest would be kind of under the guide of the angel or the demon, and they would be bad, and then Riley would try and fight them because he's the same powers. That's what I thought was
Yeah,
going to
me
happen.
too.
But actually, what he does is he gives the information to Erin, who then gives it to Dr.
Yeah.
Sarah, who then like their mother is involved as well, Mildred. So it's basically them three are taking down this the the priest and what he's trying to do and his idea. So like that was different. I wasn't expecting that. But I will say what's brilliant about this show is the dialogue. The one
Absolutely.
shot sequences of dialogue. Absolutely fantastic. There's a scene where
Every line has
Riley and
some meaning that will pay
it's
off later.
and it comes back to the
Yeah.
finale with Erin and her death. That conversation she had with
Yeah.
Riley. So like the dialogue is really well, like we can talk about some shows where the dialogue or some movies where the dialogue isn't that
Yeah.
good, but this show the dialogue is fantastic. Probably one of the highlights. And there was like I think there was I don't know, Casey, but I think there was some scenes of like 8-10 minutes of
Yeah.
dialogue. And you weren't bored. It was just the characters
Did you
talking.
like
But
the
probably the
did you like the
standout, the
oneer in the
highlight.
second episode? The way it starts? 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty creative, and it's I wasn't bored of it. I really liked it. But the best piece of dialogue was definitely Sheriff Hassan
Yeah,
when he's talking to Dr. Sarah about why he came to this
yeah,
town. You know, what led him here when he was a cop and he witnessed 9/11, and then there was discrimination within the workplace, and he worked his way up. Then he was brought back down. Then he just moved to this town. You know, that one was really well delivered by the actor. Brilliant stuff, and definitely one of the best scenes in the entire series. But the other kind of downfall I had with the finale was like the priest was bad, then he was good,
yeah.
you know. And then you had like Sheriff Hassan's son Ali. He was on the side of the priest, and then he turns good near the end and stuff like that. Like that kind of turning back and forth. But I will say it does ask big questions about religion. Do you believe in God? You know, I mean, we see documents and people being manipulated by religious groups. Like this shows a great highlight of this. You know, these people in this town were manipulated because not like they weren't just manipulated by the priest being a preacher. They got to see Lisa, who was a character in a wheelchair, get up and walk. They witnessed a miracle. So that's why they believed the priest a little bit more. That's why they
Yeah,
kind of gave in to what he was saying because they got to see a miracle. So when you look at all those point of views, it actually makes sense why the town was so open to the idea
yeah.
of uh, of being vampires,
And
basically.
and the it's also interesting how they shot certain scenes, and the songs were just beautiful and amazing in the show. And there's one scene where a song is playing, and you see this church filling up more and more. There's one scene before that, and the priest says, why is there so low attendance every day, but people only come on Sundays?" So that's basically what happens in real life as well. So that was a commentary on that. And when these miracles start happening, a lot of people, there's full attendance by the end of every single day, and they all are holding the Bible and everything. So that scene I thought was
Yeah,
perfectly done.
yeah, really good for a second season. I think it ended okay.
I don't know
You
if
could
it
if you
will have
wanted
a
to.
second season because it was a
But I'm saying
limited
I don't.
series.
Yeah, I don't want a second season. I don't
Yeah,
want them
me
to go
neither.
back. I think it ended. It ended where it needed to end.
Yeah.
I think there's a great line. Is it in this show where people are like, um, "It is what it is," or "That's the way it was always supposed to be." I think that's from the woman who helps the what's her name, the priest, Bev.
Bev,
She
your favorite character?
is a bit. I no, I don't like Bev at all, but that's the point. But she was always saying it was always supposed to
Yeah.
be this way. So the show ended, and maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. 7 episodes, but I think it could have done with 8, maybe 9. But look, I think it's a very good watch, and the twist is worth watching for because your mouth on the floor. Ian, I just wish they nailed it a little bit better in the end. I thought this angel was going to be this kind of Jeepers Creepers type character where he's very hard to beat and very hard
They
to
showed
kill,
very
but he's easy manipulated.
Yeah, they showed very less of that. And I think that was also on purpose. I think that was Mike just saying that um, these angels or vampires or whatever are not the worst, enemies of humans. It's actually humans. And that's
Yeah,
why it was more human centric in the finale. But I think, look, at first I thought when episode 1 and 2, I watched those two, I thought that they are dealing with a fallen angel. There's always that Satan and fallen angel story. So I thought it was that, and I thought it was a demon. But as the third episode unfolded, and then the fourth, we actually understand that it kind of is like a vampire, right? So before watching the show, Mike Flanagan was interviewed, and he basically someone asked him that nobody ever uses this one word in the show, but that one word describes the entire thing in the show. And Mike Flanagan said that yeah, it was done on purpose. Nobody, it shows that using that word would kind of bring the show's level a bit down from what they were trying to go for, which is a religious aspect, angel, and all that stuff. Saying a vampire would just make it like, a fantasy element of that, right? So I think that was done perfectly. I think they did a pretty good job not mentioning vampire at all, but it very clearly was a vampire and a different take at that. And I just love that they took verses from the Bible and just took it so literally that it could fit with a vampire narrative, right? And that was pretty well done. And I was surprised that, and Bev was literally the walking Bible character. She basically was quoting every single thing, and the priest was also quoting every single thing. And the literal definition makes you think that, wow, this is so wild. And what if that actually happened, right? Because that's what's in the text.
Yeah.
So I thought that, on second watch, I like it even more, to be honest, because of how many callbacks that they actually set up. I didn't realize that until I watched it for the second time. You catch some of them, but a lot of them you don't, because they seem like casual dialogue. Like even just two kids walking and playing around, they were saying some stuff that actually set up something in the future. And I thought that was very interesting. But yeah, this twist was pretty amazing. What twist are you actually talking about in the sixth episode?
The sixth episode, they kind of set up with the finale about what exactly happened, because I watched them so close together. It's like where the demon revealed in episode 6, or is it episode 7? They all went to the church.
In the church?
Do you, yeah,
Oh,
when they all gather in the
it's I think
church.
it's
Is that
episode 6, yeah.
Yeah, 6, and then and then Doctor or the sheriff Hassan kind of goes against
Right,
them,
right.
and then the angel is kind of at the back of the church, just standing there.
Yeah.
That was a scary
Yeah,
shot.
it was. Oh,
So that was the big kind of twist for me. And then he's up at the top of the altar behind the priest, and he's standing there. And yeah, that was really good. Really enjoyed that.
people
And then
would
Hassan
freak
took out his
out if that
gun.
happened in real life.
Be crazy. Then Hassan took out his gun, and the angel was pissed off.
Yeah.
So that was really good.
Yeah, I thought that they could have done more with the angel character. He was basically just in the background, because they set up so much of him in the beginning. So I probably would have loved to watch more of him in the finale or something. Being more, he barely talked. He didn't talk to anyone, so that was also kind of weird. He seemed like some character in the background. But yeah. It was the priest character is he did a very, very good job. John, I think is his name. He did a very, very good job throughout the show, and I just loved his performance. Even Bev Keane, the actress, did a very good job at making everyone hate her. Like she was very, very annoying.
Yeah, she was, but she played the role perfectly, and yeah, she definitely had. I told you when I watched it last week, episode 1, there was definitely something about her.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah,
and she was weird before. She was weird before she found out what the priest was.
And look, when the twist started happening, I kind of theorized that maybe this priest and Bev Keane are actually faking it for money and stuff, right? Before the reveal of the angel. I thought that's what they were doing. But it's actually just the priest faking it. And Bev Keane actually is okay with it. And she plays along. And that was like, whoa. She is really, really going for it here.
She'll do anything for God and for her priests. So just shows you how deep religion runs in her veins.
Yeah. And at the end, she turns out to be a coward. She was hiding and never took any of this.
Yeah.
So she basically died twice in the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
That was so cool. But yeah, I did think that it was way, a bigger step up than Bly Manor for sure, because I thought that, he kind of disappointed me with that show. I was expecting a horror show, but it turned out to be a love story. And I did not appreciate that twist as much as other people. But I do love the Haunting of Hill House. That was pretty amazing. And now I love the Midnight Mass. That was also pretty amazing. Like I said, like Mar said, the finale was kind of, let down, and I agree to a certain point. I would have liked a kind of a different one, but upon rewatch, I do think that what this show was going for, and what it was setting up and what it meant metaphorically and the themes that were in the show. Based on that, I would think it's a pretty good ending. And there's also one more thing in the end. The angel kind of flies away, right? And the both children are in the boat, and the Lisa character, she says that she can't feel her legs, right? And I was kind of thinking that maybe the angel died and that's why it happened. But Mike Flanagan actually said that it's only because the blood, the the thing that they were drinking, right? That just wore off from her blood, and her blood is now pure. That's the reason why her, the effect of her not being handicapped, wore off. So I think the ending is kind of like an open ending where Mike did not confirm that the angel is dead or alive. So it's really up to you.
Didn't show us he's not
Yeah.
dead, So he's definitely they can definitely come back. If they never make a sequel, then you could say he's dead. If they make a sequel, then you can bring him back.
Yeah.
It's they left it open for themselves.
I personally would say that he's dead. He never made it to the mainland. But if you think in a more darker way, he could go to some other city and cause what happened on this island on a very big scale. So imagine that. The whole world could
Yeah.
just be full of vampires. And also, did you like the zombie kind of scene in the finale? The way everyone was turned and
It was it's kind of a nod to kind of the old Living of the
yeah.
Dead and Dawn of the Dead movies where you just kind of see them kind of walking like zombies from a distance. That was a really cool shot. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think might be a nod to those old movies. But yeah, that was cool. It was freaky. It was scary.
Yeah, it's also, I think, him kind of saying that when you are this fanatic and blindly believe in something, you kind of are like zombies, you know.
Yeah.
And also one more Easter egg that I appreciated, which I didn't actually realize both times that I watched the show, is the Seven poster in his room, in Riley's room. Actually, I saw that someone pointed out that it
Oh,
actually has to do with the box. What's in the box? The angel character came inside a box, right?
yes.
So it's a nod to that.
Yes. Yeah. I'd say there's a lot more Easter eggs and stuff. I haven't watched any breakdowns on YouTube yet because I only finished it a few hours ago. But yeah, I'd say there's a lot of hidden meaning there,
Yeah,
and a lot of movies and shows and religious themes. But also, it's not just like Catholic
yeah.
religion. There's also
He didn't even say that it's based
Hassan.
on religion. He said any belief system or
Yeah,
faith. So it applies to everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that was our review for Midnight Mass. I would definitely recommend this for checking out. I mean, it's whether you're religious or not, that doesn't matter. It's just a good story and good thrilling, good mystery type of story. And I thought the ending was pretty good. And the whole show was very well established and conceived. The themes were pretty amazing. The music, especially, was just very, very good. I was surprised that I was liking the song so much, and it played so well with the scenes that were playing, and I just loved it. It's certainly a very unique experience.
Yeah, it's a good watch. Probably good to watch with somebody else, but it is slow in parts.
Yeah,
So I would understand if some people stop watching after a few episodes or even after the first episode because it is a bit
yeah,
slow and it's probably not the show that you're expecting. But you do have to wait till episode 6 for a twist. Well, to see the big what's happening. But there is a few twists before that in terms of Riley and the priest and getting bit and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a good show. It's a good watch, but it won't be for everybody.
I think the end of episode 2 actually sets up a great cliffhanger. When I was watching the screeners for it, the end of episode 2 was, Lisa standing up and walking. And that's pretty mind blowing.
Yeah, that's when I thought it was like got to do with possession or something like that. There's a demon inside her or
Right.
something like that. I just because at that stage you didn't really know what the show was
Yeah.
about, but it wasn't. It was something darker.
Mhm.